Good morning, good evening. Onegai shimasu. I hope you're all doing very well. Happy New Year. So nice to see you all. Today I'll read Shokushu number 1, our motto. Let us experience universal mind that loves and protects all creation and helps all things grow and develop. To know the unification of our mind and body and be one with the universe is the ultimate purpose of our study. The 4 major principles to experience the unification of mind and body. 1. We rest in the one point in the lower abdomen. 2. We are completely relaxed. 3. Our weight is underside. 4. Ki extends infinitely in all directions. Well, we've entered a new year, and I know we're all very happy to see Kurta Sensei teaching again. And I'll take this brief opportunity to encourage everyone to offer comments, ask a question during his class. This is your opportunity. I'm very grateful, and I know he is as well, to the people that do comment. And I know there are many people here in the class with him last week. There are people that have things to say. It could be, he spoke about, for instance, holding our loved ones. Of course, this is like with our heart, with our being. Holding our students. He even mentioned holding someone we disagree with. He mentioned holding our teacher. And so maybe there are some that are not sure what this refers to. So that's what I mean. I encourage you to express that when he's teaching, if you're unsure. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at his response. And this is very valuable thing that he's expressing. And so today we can practice holding. I know he's not here today, and yet we can practice holding our teacher. There's something else I'd like to talk about as well before we do our sitting practice. Some of you probably heard that early yesterday Thich Nhat Hanh passed away. And he's, for those who don't know, very revered, one of the most revered teachers from Asian spiritual practice. Emphasized meditation, different forms of meditation, sitting meditation, walking meditation. And so I'd like to spend these few minutes before we sit, just reading a few things that he wrote. He's one of the first, when I started practicing, around the time I started practicing, I was reading Toi Sensei, and it was challenging. I wasn't sure what he was talking about. And Thich Nhat Hanh was one of the first other spiritual leaders that I picked up a book of his and I started reading, and then I bought another and another, just because of his such a gentle and peaceful way about his expression, about his written expression, and if you've ever heard him speak, also in his oral expression. So I'll read a few things from Thich Nhat Hanh. This is from a book called Pieces Every Step. This is an old copy of a book that I have. And I'm going to read one of the first paragraphs on the first page, just to give you an idea of what this wonderful human being shared with us. Peace is present right here and now, in ourselves and in everything we do and see. The question is whether or not we are in touch with it. We don't have to travel far away to enjoy the blue sky. We don't have to leave our city or even our neighborhood to enjoy the eyes of a beautiful child. Even the air we breathe can be a source of joy. And that's how he begins this lovely book. He also talks a lot about anger, and maybe this is one of the reasons that his books connected with me, touched with me, because I'm a person that, I carry a good amount of anger with me. And so his writing really touched that part of me, the part of me that wants to understand that more. So I'll read you a few other things related to that. Sorry, I'm reorganizing here as I go. This is from a book called Being Peace. I would not look upon anger as something foreign to me, that I have to fight, to have surgery in order to remove it. I have to deal with my anger with care, with love, with tenderness, with nonviolence. Because anger is me, I have to tend my anger as I would tend a younger brother or sister, with love, with care. He talks about anger and irritation as an energy, right? And we've talked about this. And then he goes on to say, we cannot destroy the energy. We can only convert it into a more constructive energy. We have to convert anger into some kind of energy that is more constructive. A couple other things, and then we'll do some sitting. This also sounds very familiar to the writing of Toi Sensei. So I wanted to share this. This is from a book called Zen Keys. The sea is either calm or stormy. If you want a calm sea, you cannot get it by suppressing the stormy sea. You must wait for the same sea to become calm. And then let me read one other about meditation, and then we'll practice sitting. Some people look on meditation as a toil and want the time to pass quickly in order to rest afterwards. Often it helps to meditate on the image of a pebble thrown into a river. Imagine yourself as a pebble which has been thrown into a river. The pebble sinks through the water effortlessly, detached from everything. It falls by the shortest distance possible, finally reaching the bottom, the point of perfect rest. You are like a pebble which has let itself fall into the river, letting go of everything. So, let's do some sitting. Let's hold our teacher and our loved ones and our enemies. And like the pebble, just rest. We'll start with some key breathing. All right. Close your eyes. All right. Well, we have a few minutes. I think I'll use the remaining time to listen to your comments, any questions if you have anything. Anything you'd like to share. It doesn't have to be about what we discussed today.
Sensei.
Yes, hello.
Good morning,
Hello,
Kayami. This is Kayami. I have two questions. One is, I don't think I really understand what holding teacher means. I think I have some idea of holding loved ones and holding enemies, and I know that teacher are not different, but I don't think I understand it. So I would like you to help me. And the other one is, when I ask questions, it seems like my ego grows. That's one of the reason I'm afraid of asking questions, because after, usually before I ask questions, I start thinking, how should I say it nicely and how should I say it clearly? And then it distracts me from meditation. And another thing is, after I ask questions, I think, why did I ask that way? And it's just, I don't know how I can overcome this, not overcome, but how I deal with this self-consciousness. I know, so by asking questions, my ego seems to grow, and sometimes I rather not to do it. As if you could help me with these two questions, I'd be very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Kayumi. Well, so I I very much appreciate your sincerity, first of all. I know it's not easy to do this in front of others, right? It's easier one-on-one than in front of a group. And I have some things to say about that second part. If it's all right with you, I will give you an assignment, however. And that is, I will request that you ask that first question in our next class when Curtis Sensei is here. All right? Because he's the one that brought it up. Right? So I feel it's part of my responsibility to help students have the opportunity to interact with the teacher. So, as part of my answer to your second question, I will give you this assignment. I hope that's all right. Yeah. Okay, so I have a question for you. What do you wish to accomplish with your question? Now, you don't have to answer at this moment. But it's something for you to consider. So this is how I respond. Do you wish to understand something more deeply? Or do you wish to show the teacher, display to the teacher how much you know, understand, how calm you are? Do you see? So that's something for us to consider. This is part of our practice, this asking questions business. This is part of our training. This is why I encouraged when we opened class this morning. This is everyone's opportunity. This is your opportunity to train. And by that I mean next week. Don't hold back. This is your opportunity. The way we come to terms with the points you mentioned about asking questions and sometimes feeling like maybe you didn't ask it the right way, is to ask questions. To go through that process. And with that, and by doing that, we slowly become more sensitive to, am I trying to sound smart here? We become sensitive to that. And then things shift. If you don't ask questions, and you ask questions from time to time, so I know you're eager to understand. I know that is your answer earlier. We have to do it. We have to actually go through that process. We have to put ourselves out there. We have to be willing. Naloi Sensei used to say, and this is a very Hawaiian expression, I believe. He used to say, we have to be willing to make ass. In other words, to make a fool of ourselves, to open completely and reveal, right? So that is what I have to say about that second question you had. And please do ask, even though he may not speak about this, the holding next time, just preface it. In your first class, you mentioned holding, Sensei, and something like that. And it's stayed with me. I need to know more. Feel free to do it. Of course, do it the way that it comes out for you. Not using my words, but using Kayomi's words. All right? Yeah, it's and this is, for everybody here, it is perfectly okay to bumble and stumble your way through the question. If Sensei says, what are you asking? That's just like the bell. That's like the meditation bell. That's what that is. Reminding us to just pay attention. That's all. It's not some attack. All right? So I hope that helps.
Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you very much. We have one more minute.
Sensei, I want to, not to ask, but make a commentary. Last weekend, as we made this kind of meditation, I was not thinking, but try to feel equanimity with, I think, this holding issue and this all the people, all the enemies and all the good people. And I read a quote the day after from Karmapa, and he said, if you want to reach equanimity, we should all feel the positive persons in our life and the enemies too, and to rejoice in this feeling and feel equanimity. And I was working with that. So this was, and I think holding the teacher, I think there is no holding and not holding. I think is a given. And if you hold the teacher holds you, because you are not separate. That is my feeling of this. And in the Nyingye practice, there's the giver, the taker, and the given is all the same. And I have this. This was my feeling to it, or to my comment. So I wanted to just.
Thank you, Crystal. I know that you practice, right? You have I believe is it Tibetan Buddhism? So you know much more about that practice than I. And one of the things that I think is really interesting, and this is in response to what you said about equanimity, when we're practicing, when we're trying, right? When we're trying to have equanimity, let's put it that way. And that sensitivity that I was talking about is developing in us, that maturity that I was talking about in my previous response, begins to reveal to us that trying is in its own way kind of a barrier, right? And that, like Thich Nhat Hanh was saying, the blue sky is there, right? The equanimity and the peace are there. All we have to do is stop trying, right? And yet, we have to sit. This is the wonderful paradox of it. And I know this is what you're talking about. It's just an incredible paradox that we must go through this, just like we must go through asking questions for the way to ask questions to reveal itself to us. We have to sit for this not trying to reveal itself. I'm just a conduit here. It's not even I'm, right? It's just a conduit. Things passing through. Everything passing through. And so this is the, to me, when you said that about holding and equanimity, trying to be in equanimity, this is the true nature, right, of the practice, is to see that it's just this. Thank you.
Thank you too. And Thich Nhat Hanh said, no mud, no lotus.
Oh, yes. Well, I think I see that we've gone past a few minutes. I want to thank everyone for once again sharing this time together. It's a wonderful training and practice for me. I hope it is for you as well. And Curtis Sensei will be back next weekend. So I will see you all then. Domo arigatou gozaimashita. Aloha.